Hi everyone, it's Mrs. D'Amico. This week we'll be learning about science fiction books. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define science fiction, and when I give you a selection of books, you'll be able to choose the science fiction ones. Science fiction is a type of fiction that combines scientific facts and technology with fantasy elements. Unreal things exist or happen because of science, and there is no magic involved at all. It's all based on science. Most science fiction contains some real science or follows some real scientific laws, as well as being mixed in with fictional elements. This video will explain a little bit more about science fiction.
Genre. Now that's a fun word to say. Genre. Is that French? Do you know what a genre is? A genre is a category. When you like movies, you don't always like every kind or every genre of movie. You might love comedy movies, but not scary ones. Well, those are two different types or genres of movie. We put other things into genres. We might split our building sets into different categories, like, say, I don't know, space, castle, city. Well, books work the same way. Most chapter books are part of a large genre called fiction. And that just means those books tell a story that came from the author's imagination. But fiction alone doesn't tell us many details about what's in the book. So we divide books up into more specific fiction genres. Harry Potter and Charlotte's Web are both fiction books, but they have very different settings and characters, so we put them into different fiction genres. Let's talk about one specific fiction genre right now. You know those books that have spaceships and robots and aliens and time travel, stuff like that? We call those kind of stories science fiction, or sci fi for short. Science fiction, like most fiction, tells a story that came from the author's imagination, but what makes it different from other kinds of fiction? Science fiction contains unreal things that could be real in our world in the future. The unreal things in science fiction could be those amazing spaceships or robots or aliens or time machines or any other kind of technology or discovery that just maybe, possibly could happen. A lot of imagination goes into writing science fiction and building a world of possibilities. That's why it's so fun to read. Science fiction often explores what happens when things go wrong with those tools or advancements. It's cool to build rockets and explore outer space, but what if the aliens we meet aren't so friendly? Sci fi can help us think about the many different outcomes of our actions. Most science fiction takes place in the real world, or at least in a world with similar rules to ours. Sci fi books have amazing, inventive things in them, but those things play by the rules of our world, of what we know and really experience. In other words, cool stuff happens because of science, not magic. If someone can turn invisible in a science fiction book, it's because they built a light refracting hologram projection device, not just because they drank an enchanted potion. Science fiction is typically set in the future. Now, the future could be the next century or the next day, but in the imagined future, there's a technology or a scientific discovery that makes things possible that would be impossible in the present. Of course, some science fiction can be set in the present, in an alternative but familiar world. There's even subgenres of sci fi that are set in the past, like steampunk, where advanced technologies are imagined to exist in a time before electricity. When you get into genre study, you have to remember that there's always an exception to every rule. Genres get mixed up and remixed all the time, and that makes it fun. So that's science fiction. It's full of unreal things that could be real in our world or a similar world in the near or distant future. Sci fi authors write about what if and what could be, and that can help us think about what's happening right now and how our choices affect the future and the world and the Elseworlds beyond the multiverse. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you're going to read in science fiction, so get used to it. It's awesome.
All right, hope you enjoyed that. That certainly helped me realize a little bit more about what science fiction was. All right. Some possible sci fi settings could be in the future, on a different planet, in a time that you travel to in a time machine. It could be in a ruined society or deep underground in the middle of the earth. Could happen in a laboratory or in a totally different universe. Some plots could be time travel, travel to outer space, travel to another dimension. It could show the impact of technology on society. There could be a story about life in another dimension or in a totally fictional world. There could be mutants or aliens. There could be superheroes. Characters you might see in sci fi are robots and aliens and monsters, evil rulers or dictators, super intelligent computers, regular human beings in the future, scientists, and humans with special powers or senses. You can find a whole lot of different science fiction in our library. Here are just a few of the books: My Invisible Sister, My Teacher is an Alien, Jack and the Geniuses, The Alien Next Door, The Time Surfers. We have lots of series that turn out to be science fiction. What is the definition of science fiction? I have three different definitions here. First one, a type of fiction about magical people or beings that exist in a fantastic world or in a strange world. The next one, a type of fiction that combines scientific facts and technology with fantasy elements. And the last one, a story that has been told again and again and passed down through generations. Which is the correct science fiction definition? The one in the middle, of course. Here's your clue: scientific facts. It's a type of fiction that combines scientific facts and technology with fantasy elements, like these aliens here. All right, last part of your quiz. Which of these books are science fiction books? First one we have here, Captain Cal and the Robot Army. The Alien Next Door, The New Kid. Puppy Pals, Bailey. And The Time Surfers, Into the Zonk Zone. How many of these books are science fiction books? You can tell from the covers and the titles. Puppy Pals was the only one that was not science fiction. This one about the robots, science fiction. Aliens, of course. And Time Surfers, these people can travel through time. So it's a whole series. I think you might enjoy it. Thanks for listening about science fiction. I hope you will check some of these out from the library the next time you visit. See you next time.